I watched on the news, this is serious, I watched on the news as the LA fires kind of went rampant. Anyone else see that? You know, it's just like, it was crazy. It seemed like it wouldn't stop. I saw, my algorithm for a long time was like watching the different ways they were trying to fight. It was the planes. Did any of you see this? The planes that would go like scoop water out of the ocean and then fly back up and like drop all that water. This is pretty awesome. So I started watching all that stuff. But I'll tell you what happened is I started thinking about when, because some of them had time to like prepare. Like it's interesting, like with tornadoes and hurricanes are wildly different. With hurricanes, you have time to prepare, you see it coming. Tornadoes, they just happen and you're just like, you got maybe 15 seconds sometimes, right? But the wildfires, some of them, I say a good number of them had time to prepare. And they were getting, stuff out of their house and they were escaping and all this kind of stuff. It made me think something, and I want you to discuss this at your table. So here's your question. If you had, so this is kind of like Desert Island, but it's a little different. Your house is going to be on fire in like 10 minutes. You can go in, you have time to grab 3 things. What do you grab? Discuss at your tables. Oh, hold on. Every living being in your house is cared for and safe. So your family, your pets. Okay. Who would say, we're not going to go around the tables because that always goes poorly. Who would say one of the 3 things on their list was okay, we're going to bring it back in. Like some sort of device like Gloria mentioned, like a phone, an iPad, like a TV, right? Could you imagine? It's a desert island, we're going to... Okay, device. Who did not have a device on their list? Interesting. Okay. Who would say jewelry was on their list? Like, there's expensive jewelry. Okay? One day you might say that. Okay? Who would say let me just, pictures in particular. Pictures. Which I know is for your generation like wild because they're on your phone and they're on the cloud. So did the adults say pictures? No? Am I alone? Me and Eric? Okay. Me and you. My parents? You think my parents? I am tech support for my parents. They're on AOL. Beep. Listen, Nicole, let me tell you, I go to meetings with people younger than my parents and they print everything. Everything is on a piece of paper. Okay, nothing is digital. Okay. No one said pictures. You didn't say pictures? Wow, you just don't care about your family? I'm just kidding. Okay, who said some sort of keepsake? Like, it's invaluable. It's not necessarily like expensive, but it was something that's special to me. Okay. Now, is there, I want to give you the chance to respond here, but we're going to do it quickly. And when I tell you we're done, we're done. Is there a category that I missed somewhere? I don't want something specific. My Pokemon card. I just like, is there a category? Okay, Braden. Transportation. Okay. Hold on. We got it. Yo. If this is going to happen, we're going to have to be, I just need this to happen kind of quickly. Okay, Grayson. Close. Dara. Huh? Documents. That's a good one. Who said documents? Like important, all the adults in the room. Like my social security card, I guess. Okay. All right. So many people. Okay. Shh. I'm gonna let Jonas go, and then we're gonna be done, and I'm gonna tell you why. Jonas, survival things. You would say that, right? A knife, something to start fire with, right? Okay. Shh. I actually, when I was watching these clips, I was like, well, let me ask you this. Just show of hands. Who would say, like, I'm a little bit of a pack rat? Like, there's things that I can't part with. Like, I'm gonna carry them. Yeah. Who's the, like, no, I throw everything away. Like, I don't want anything attached to my. Okay, awesome. You're all heartless. I started to realize that I don't have like one place where like my valuable things are. Like they're kind of like, oh my gosh, I'd have to go here and I have to go here. I remember watching one celebrity, and I can't remember who it was. Hey, 6th grade boys, thank you. I was watching one celebrity talk about how like the thing that they got broken up over, that they kind of lost it like while they were being interviewed, was like the art that their kids had made, like hung on the walls or whatever. And they were like, man, it's like just the things that you don't think about, like you didn't have time or whatever. Something special was made. I started thinking like, man, I don't know exactly what falls into that category. Here's why I want to ask you this. Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount is going to talk to us about our treasures, okay? And it's interesting. In fact, can you go ahead and put it up on the screen for me, Brian? The first verse, this is Matthew 6, verse 19 through 24. Verse 19 is going to kick it off. Don't store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal. Let me pause there for a second. Don't store up for yourselves treasures. I found that in the Greek, there is a way to translate this a certain way, and it's kind of funny. You're going to have to just trust me on this one. Don't store up for yourselves stored up things. And that seems kind of like repetitive and robotic. But it essentially is kind of this idea of, if you think that you're going to be successful by like collecting and gathering and amassing like wealth and things like, and I'm not talking about hoarding. I'm really going to kind of hone in on wealth. Material things, yes, but wealth, riches, money. How can I get the biggest bank account possible? And it's interesting when you read this. This is one of the most Jesus verses, I think, around, because it does fly in the face of 21st century America, because we are very acquainted with storing up for ourselves treasures. I mean, just the storage units that we have, which is a definition for me. Like, I went to a storage unit for our church not long ago, and there's things that I found in there that were from years ago, and I'm like, are we really going to keep this? Why? Because over time, it just starts to break down, and it's dirty, and it's like, it's even behind like a door. Like, it's not getting rained on. It's not getting, bugs and stuff like that necessarily, but it just kind of crumbles. It just kind of gets destroyed over time. And it's interesting that when the thing goes in the storage unit or in the closet, or we're buying that thing, it's like, well, I'm going to need that. I'm I'm gathering, I'm amassing, right? And then over time, you look at it and it's like, it's kind of lost its value. When I was thinking about some things that do have value, and I am a pack rat. My wife knows this, and I try to be, I'm not a hoarder, but she's like, yes, he is. But I have these few bins, and I went digging through these bins today to bring a couple ideas of what like I have collected over time that is, I guess, meaningful to me. I don't know. Does anyone know that's a student what this is? Where this comes from? It's a baby blanket. Yeah, so this baby blanket came home with us in 2010 when Kipton was born. And so, like, what? Now, there's poop on it. That's crazy. I'm just kidding. I'm not. So, like, but, like, how do you get rid of this, right? How do you get, like, man, this is like the first baby. Like I could swaddle a baby, like the rootinest, tootinest baby swaddler you've ever seen. Okay, this is anyone. This is going to be a long shot. Anyone ever been to a restaurant called O'Charlie's? They don't have them around here. You really probably have to go up towards Tennessee, where they're headquartered. Yeah, Ohio. So some of you know Christy and I's story because I've told it. We met. Sometimes I say we met at college. That's not true. We met during college at our job. And it was at a restaurant. I showed up. I was a year behind her. She was a server. I was like a busboy and a host. And then I eventually became a server with her. And for a year and a half, she had this crush on me. And I was like, no. Like, it was opposite. Okay, I'm just going to be honest about that. But I always keep this because I remember two things. A little bit of like how we got together. And but I also remember too, like, any of you ever go to restaurants on Sundays? Oh, man. Restaurants on Sundays are full of angry Christians. And I kept this. This was given to me a long time ago. It's a gospel tract, okay, which is like, here, read this and get saved, and I'm going to walk away. I'm not just the biggest fan of these. We can talk about that later if you want. If you love these, awesome. Go share the gospel. I would rather do it differently. I remember so many times people treating me terribly on Sunday, obviously dressed up in their church clothes, and leaving me one of these and a bad tip. And I remember thinking, like, I always want to remember what it felt like on the other end of that, to be treated poorly, and I never want to be that guy. So I just kept this. This is special to me. I probably was supposed to turn it in, but I didn't. I kept this picture. I printed this picture. This is me and my grandpa. I think have I shown you this picture before? I think I have. I got this out of my office today because it truly is important. In fact, my cousin visited us. He's a missionary. He's really not in the United States very often, but he visited us for dinner, and we had this conversation. And he talked about how when we were growing up, we didn't take life all that seriously, and we really didn't have to. He was a pastor. My cousin is a missionary. I'm in student ministry. I've been working in ministry full time my whole career, and I had one opportunity to talk with him about ministry. It was like after I was called into ministry, but before, some of you may know, like when people age, dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that, I was never able to have a real conversation. This moment really mattered to me. I think about all the pictures that I've taken over time, and they all matter to me. But here's the thing: when I think about like treasures on earth, these are not they're important, but they're not tip top most important, right? You think about the things that matter most in this life. Verse 20 is as Jesus is going to continue. He's going to say, "Store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, where thieves don't break in and steal." And then verse 21, I think, is a really solid one. "For where your treasure is, there your heart is also." Can I just pause on that for just the last few minutes here? It's interesting to me. I misquoted this verse so many times. In fact, I think my whole life, what I said, "For where your heart is, there your treasure will be also." It's interesting that Jesus was telling us something where you put, where you ascribe worth or value, your heart tends to follow it, like a trailer behind a truck. A trailer doesn't decide where the truck goes. The truck decides where the trailer goes. So this is the challenge, you need to be paying attention to where your treasure is. Now, you may hear treasure, you may think money. But I would also say maybe the better word is value. Like, what do you value? Do you value popularity or status or relationships or success or a big house when you grow up? Or, what is it that you value? What ends up happening is that your heart tends to follow that. So if you value money and financial wealth, your heart will kind of default at chasing after that. It's dangerous. It's sneaky. I want to talk more about this next week because this is a big issue. So we're going to take 2 weeks on this, but I think it's important for us to recognize that you may have heard this verse. What is the root of all evil? Do you know what the verse says? The root of all evil is what? Say it again, louder. It's not greed. The love of money. And commonly misquoted is that money is the root of all evil. And I'm just here to tell you, the verse doesn't say that. I will tell you that money will trip you up and tempt you. Money is probably one of the most powerful, tempting, sneaky things that can make you turn your heart towards evil things, because everyone on some level wants wealth or strength or success. No one wants to be a failure. No one defaults at like, I want to be broke, I want to be homeless. Like, no one does that. And if you do, like, we have a counseling department that is fantastic, right? I've never heard it. I've never heard someone say, I want to be a huge failure. And so the version of success in America, for the most part, is money. And what you find when you chase money is that your heart tends to follow that, and that your heart never accidentally follows Jesus. You accidentally trip into greed, like someone else was saying over here. The love of money is the root of all evil. And I will tell you that next week we're going to talk about what it looks like to treasure things that are in heaven, not things that are on earth. We all know what those earthly treasures are. I think the confusion, and hopefully I want to bring some clarity next week, is what does it look like to chase after heavenly treasures? And I really want you to come back next week so we can talk about that. I'm going to pray and close. It's your name I pray. Heavenly Father, rush through that prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for these students. Thank you for a great night. Lord, I'm excited about where our students are at. Weekend was incredible. Tonight, just love gathering with students. I pray that you would help us to align our hearts with you, and that where we do have some defaults about chasing after things, that we would check our hearts, because our heart might be trailing behind those rather than you. And so we want to focus on that. It's your name I pray. Amen.